This is Mike Berlogger, and we're talking about the Truth and Taxation hearing proposed final levy for 2013 payable 2014. On the agenda, we talk about we will review the prior year financial information, we'll review current year budget, and then we'll review tax information, levy changes, the effects of those changes, and any questions. In fiscal year 2013, we remodeled and opened the 7 through 9 junior highs, east and west. We staffed and opened the 6th grade center, and we staffed and opened the ALC. The ALC moved from Carver Scott program to our own program. In the audit, we had an unmodified opinion on the district's financial statements, which is the highest the audit company gives, our unmodified opinion on the compliance over federal programs, and an unmodified opinion on the Minnesota legal compliance. There were 2 internal control findings: lack of segregation of duties and preparation of financial statements. The auditors have helped us with the preparation for a number of years, and our office hasn't increased in size for the lack of segregation of duties. Since 2001, we had 4,000 students, and right now we're almost 8,000. The 2013 revenue per student served for Shakopee was $9,078 compared to the metro and statewide averages from last year, so we're between $2,800 and $1,500 less in revenue. For expenses per student served, we are $9,342. Again, compared to the metro and statewide averages from last year, we spend $1,400 less, between $1,000 and $1,400 less, and in administrative costs, we're about $200 less than the metro and statewide averages. For the unrestricted fund balance, went down a little bit because of the buildings that we opened. However, it went from 22.4 to 20.2. So that was mainly due to the opening of the 2 junior highs and the 6th grade center, along with the ALC. For the current year budget review, in fiscal year 2014, the current year we're in, we added 8 teachers for student growth. We added a student data analysis person. We changed the secondary deans to assistant principals, and we increased the general fund revenue increased $52 per pupil. For the current year budget revenue, you can see that 72% is in the general fund. Debt service is the next largest chunk of money that we receive at 14%. Community ed, food service, capital, and transportation are between 2 and 4% of the total revenue budget. Of the 72% of general fund, you can see that 76% is state aid, 3% is federal. Specific program aid would be special ed type things and other grants from the state. Other local revenue would be interest income, and local taxes is only 10% of the total pie of general fund revenue. For our current year budget, you can see the general fund expense is 72%, debt service 15% of expenses, community ed 2%, food service 4%, capital 3%, and transportation 4%. Of the general fund, 87% is salary and benefits. Services would be 8%, supplies 4%, and capital and miscellaneous spending at just 1% of the pie. But as you know, we're a service business, so 87% of the salaries and benefits make sense in our school district. So then we'll review tax information. The property value increased 3.8% across the district for 13 payable 14, and the sales ratio is 97.9, so that means that property is selling for more than what it's valued at on the property tax statements. For 13-14, which is the school year 15, state formula changes increased the adjusted ADM per pupil amount $500, but the pupil weighting changes account for a lot of that, and we reintroduced a tax component of the levy. In addition, referendum changes, we have the location equity change. $424 of our referendum was removed from referendum. The state pays that, and it's equalized revenue at referendum rates. The board also approved a conversion of $300 per adjusted ADM, which increased our total revenue by $177, but with the equalization aid the state throws in, it's almost a wash, and in fact it reduced the taxes for general fund by a little bit. That board approved $300 conversion was for 5 years, or is for 5 years. Other changes, increased lease levy. We're increasing the lease levy due to the lease purchase of the kindergarten addition, and we continue to lease for the ALC and other spaces. Our general fund changes, we had some reductions in health and safety, operating capital, and OPEB, but we did have some increases in safe schools and career and technical levies. Debt service changed. The state calculated we have a debt service excess, so they reduced our levy by $728,000, which reduces the debt service revenue. So the effects of all these changes, the levy decreases to $22,039,276.76. It's approximate tax savings of $80 on a $200,000 home. For the general fund, you can see the numbers up there: $8,994,519.76. Community service stayed about the same at $526 for 11.58, and debt service with the reduction for debt excess is $12,518,345.42, and that's the total levy again for $22,039,276.76. So at the board meeting after the hearing, we need to certify the property tax levy for 2013 payable 2014 at the $22,039,276.76. And then we took questions, and there were none from the audience. Thank you, and have a good day.